Hey there, I'm about to sit on this rotting log over here. I don't know if you can see the mold. This is the mold visible. There are some lichens down there. I don't know if those are lichens. I don't even know if the camera has captured them. I just directed the camera there. Anyway, this video is very long. It's about 1 hour long. And I must tell you, before you invest your time in this video, it is not very easy to watch this video. Okay, it is very long and it's not easy to watch. And if it is not easy to watch, I want you to think about how difficult it was for me to make it. But I made it and finished it and published it for you to watch. And the reason it is long and not easy to make or watch is because I am not here to entertain you. Okay, this is not one of those entertainment videos with fancy cutaways and montages and realistic pictures of wealth and stuff that keep you glued to the video. Okay, this is a real video, no music, it's raw. Okay, with a few shoddy editing here and there. But the reason it is tough to make and watch and follow is because I am not here to entertain you. Okay, I am here to give you the fundamentals of deductive reasoning, deductive and creative reasoning. And why does one need to think deductively and creatively? The reason you need to think that way is the reason you need to gear your pattern towards a creative method of analyzing and looking at things around us is that you can apply such abilities in different areas. Okay, in different areas. My plan is to make you apply it in software development. Okay, but if you're not interested in that, just get the the thought pattern first. Okay, get the thought pattern and then you can branch to your own things from there. So since we know that it is difficult, it might be difficult to follow this video to the end, I'm going to try to smoothen the landing. Okay, and the entertainment is just an introduction. It's part of the introduction. So just know, after we are past the philosophy part, it's now real stuff until the end of the video. Okay, it's real raw material that is not teaching you about that material. It is teaching you about deductive reasoning. So try to follow it with an open mind. And yeah, I'm going to cut to the philosophy right now. This is the entertaining part. After this part, it's all done. We move into the real hard stuff. Thanks for following. Blah 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 blah. Cut away.
First, have a definite, clear, practical idea, a goal, an objective. Second, have the necessary means to achieve your ends: wisdom, money, materials, and methods. Third, adjust all your means to that end. Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Learning is not child's play. We cannot learn without pain.
So it turns out I've been filming for 19 minutes and my audio recorder was not turned on. Yeah, so I'll have to redo the introduction. So meet Pico. And the way I got Pico to stand on my shoulders, by the way, she or he cannot fly. I still do not know the gender. And the reason he or she cannot fly is the reason why we met in the first place. It's a story of luck. I was just minding my own business inside a forest with a river passing by. I had gone there to let my mind fly loose. Okay, which is the topic for today, deductive reasoning. This is just an introduction to that. So I was there in the forest by a river, letting my mind fly away when this fairly feathered creature fell off the tree. Boop, right there next to me. And it turns out the creature was a kite. This is a kite, by the way. This is not an eagle. Turns out the creature was a kite, and his or her mother had pushed him or her. Let me refer to it as it. Had pushed it off the nest, hoping that it would fly on its own. You know, that scare of falling should enable birds to spread their wings and fly away before they hit the ground. But this one couldn't. So it hit the ground hard and it was injured. So yeah, I picked it up and took it under my care, nursed it until it started growing feathers. Okay, and it still does not like me, by the way. It has scratched me several times. For just getting it on my shoulder, getting it off my shoulder is another problem. It might even end up scratching my face. Look at how dangerously close its beak is to my eye. Yeah, but you're not going to yank my eye off, buddy, right? Yeah. Anyway, it's a flightless bird for now, but my aim is to make it realize its potential. That's why I brought it here, next to this tree. It should be soaring so high in the sky, but couldn't fly. So this tree is our improvised sky. We'll leave it up there so that it can get a glimpse, can get a rough idea of where it should be. Okay, this is way lower than it should be, but I'll just take it up there so that you can get a rough idea of where it should be. I'm holding my phone so that I can know that the audio is recording. Anyway, I've already fed it, and I was hoping to get that feeding noise on audio. I don't know if I can do it again, but I'll just do a montage before the main agenda of this video, which is deductive reasoning. So I'm going to pause the audio and climb up the tree with the bird. Will you let me go up the tree with you? Its talons are very sharp. Its talons are very sharp. It is digging into the jacket, and actually it has touched my shoulder. I don't know. It has pierced my jacket, and ow! Do not scratch me. Do not scratch me. I don't know if you can see the talons from here. I don't know if you can see how sharp the talons are. I hope you can. So anyway, this is just the introduction. Stay put. I have a lot to talk to you about. Okay? You will forget about the bud for now. Okay, but just for a last closer look, I'll just carry the camera towards it, and there it is. Can you see it over there? That's little Pico, whom I'm going to try to teach how to fly over time. Okay, not on this video, unfortunately. This video is more about deductive reasoning.
Okay, now that the introduction is out of the way, we move to more serious matters, which is the agenda of today, deductive reasoning. So as you can hear, the word comes from the word deduce. And deduce sounds to me like an extraction process. Okay? There has to be an origin for us to have an end product. Okay? There is an extraction process that explains why we are where we are. Okay? We have a current state of affairs. Okay? Current state of affairs. But there is a process that took us to the current state of affairs. And that is what I'm here to elaborate. Okay? So let us dive in with an example that is, how do I term it? It is across the board, an across the board example. I'm going to ask you a simple question. What do you think a smartphone is? You're probably watching me through a smartphone. I am using a smartphone to film this video, by the way, but what is a smartphone? Okay? The simple answer is a device that you use to communicate. Okay? But in this century, the phones have advanced, so that cannot be a comprehensive general description of what a smartphone is. Okay? A smartphone can be used to communicate. These days you do your research on it, you do your work on it, you entertain yourself with it. Okay? Some people go to weird sites. Most people, by the way, many people go to weird sites to pleasure themselves. Others are glued on social media, just scrolling. But in the end, you are using a device, okay, a smartphone. So we can say a smartphone, the general description of a smartphone is an electronic device that enables you to communicate with the people who need to be talked to. You can handle your business on it. You can call friends and family across the seas. And it is also, so it is an electronic device that can be used to communicate. Do your research on, you can work on it. Yeah, just giving it a rough general description. But that's not enough. That's not enough for a few individuals whose target is to fully understand matters so that they can have absolute control over situations. Okay? I started with the smartphone because it is a general example. It is an example that can be understood by many. I'll tell you what a smartphone is to me. Okay? First of all, you have to communicate. Therefore, there is an element of a sender and a receiver. There's an element of something has to be sent. Your message has to be packaged and sent to the next phone, the specific phone that you are calling. So that specific phone that you are calling is also a smartphone, and inside that smartphone is a receiver. And when you're talking, your phone is using a transmitter. But this information first has to be captured and taken to the transmitter. So there's a microphone somewhere, okay? There's a microphone somewhere that captures the sound and somehow packages it in a nice way for the transmitter to send it to the next phone, to the specific phone that you're calling, which will receive it using a receiver. And that receiver will decode these words that you're saying and then use a speaker to speak into the ear of your colleague. Am I right? So a smartphone has a sender and a receiver. We have also talked about the microphone that captures your voice and the speaker that speaks the voice to your colleague. Am I right? But that's not all. These days, they have cameras. Okay? I am recording this video with a smartphone and I am using its camera and it's at the back of the phone over here. Right? We cannot escape this topic of a smartphone without talking about the screen. The front side, almost the whole part, is a flat glass that you use to interact with the smartphone. Okay? And all this is also powered by a battery. There is an internal battery these days. They used to be external, you could remove them, but these days they are internal, so you cannot see it. So it's hard to assume. No, it's easy to assume that you're just you have a phone in your pocket. There's a battery there. You also have a battery in your pocket. So you have a microphone, you have a speaker, you have a sender, a receiver, you have a camera, you have a battery inside your pocket. And those are just the known things. There are so many other things inside that phone that you do not know about. Okay? Are you with me? I hope you're still with me. So we have had two definitions. We have had the simple general one, and we have had mine, which has been deduced. Okay? There are steps of reasoning so that you can understand how we got to now, how we got to the current situation, which is the smartphone. And the smartphone is just a general example, an across the board example. What else should I talk about on a phone? There is more. Okay, there is more. So let us take the phone apart. The easiest thing to see where I'm headed now is the screen. I will take the screen and isolate it. For now, just forget about the rest of the phone. Throw it away, put it in the back of the head. Now we just have the screen. That screen did not just arrive to be a screen on its own. Okay? If you look closer at the screen, okay, it's kind of invisible to the eye. The screen is made up of smaller components that come together to form the full glass. It's easier to see it on a television set. It's what comes to mind when you hear the word pixels. Okay, when you see a television set, you will realize that the screen has been made of smaller components that are similar in size, smaller squares. I don't know if you're following. There are smaller squares that form the big screen. That's why you can hit one point of the screen and then that part, that area blacks off, and then the rest of the screen is still working. You have destroyed some small components that make up the big screen. Okay, you have just destroyed a few by punching that area. The rest of the screen is just functioning well. It's just a few individuals that form the screen that have been destroyed. Okay, we will call them pixels for now. It's like a checked shot. Yeah, that is the best way. A checked shot, squares, many squares. Now those many squares, imagine them as tiny pieces of glass that have come together to form the big screen. Okay, in an engineering term, they are called diodes, and there is a whole lot of information about light emitting diodes on the internet that should help you understand this more. But don't go do that research now. We're still on another track. So those diodes come together to form a screen, and you touching those diodes helps the phone understand what you want. Okay, because you're blocking some light. I don't know how it works, but the point is the screen is made up of other things. Okay, that come together to form the screen. Now that screen is attached to the phone so that the phone can be a smartphone. Are you still following? I hope you're still with me. Wow. Let me check if the audio is recording. Yep, we're still rolling. We're still rolling. Anywho, where was I? The phone is nothing without its processor. There are goats here, by the way. Some goats just arrived. A phone is nothing without its processor. All those things need a brain to run them. And that brain for a phone is a processor. And the processors are made from silicon. And that silicon has to be etched in a particular way so that it forms a circuit that understands everything a phone requires. Okay? So, the point here is for you to realize, come on, a goat is in my shot. Let me let it be free. Anyway, the point here is to realize that a smartphone and many other things in this world are made up of smaller subparts. Okay? Smaller subparts make the big final product that you can order on online stores. Okay? You can just call an online store and they deliver it for you, and you just power it on and get on with your business. Okay? Just get on with your business without really understanding the course of events that led to you having the current state of affairs. Okay? Current state of affairs. So that is the first example, and I will call that part 1. I will call that part 1, and I hope that you're still following me. Cut. Now, before I cut, I'm going to move on to part 2. Okay, cut. Hey there, it is still me. Welcome to part 2. So, part 2 will be a very easy to see example. Okay, it's very easy to follow this one. So, I'm just going to get my bike. Give me a sec. So this is a simple bike, okay? Nothing too complicated about the bike, right? You just go to the stores and order a bike. These days there are online stores. And then the bike gets delivered to you. You just get on top of the bike and start riding without a care in the world. You just need to get where you need to get to. Or if you bought it for your child, he or she is riding it for fun. Carefree. But there's a method of getting to this bike. Okay? It has to be put together. And you realize that the bike is made up of subparts when the bike starts falling apart. Okay? When it grows old or it is mistreated, it starts being destroyed. Okay? It no longer functions the way it should function. So now that is when you realize that it is made of subparts. So off the top of your head, what do you think that if it lacks on a bike, then the bike stops being a bicycle? First of all, we have the wheels. Okay? We have the wheels over here. Without the wheels, this thing cannot move. This thing cannot move. So, did you buy a bike to carry it around, or it should be the one carrying you around? Yeah? So it is made up of wheels, two of them. If one of them is missing, it's a unicycle, but that is for expert acrobats. It's not for the ordinary person. Anyway, there are other parts. Saddle, to make it more human friendly, so that you can relax as you ride it. Okay? And then this is a bike. It does not have an engine of its own. So how do you keep it moving? Okay? You pedal like that. So a bike is also made up of pedals. Okay? It has to have a pedal for it to be a bike. But if you look closer, all these components are a collection of other components. For example, what is a wheel? Okay? This is rubber, and inside it is another fine rubber tubing inside filled with air. Okay, so the wheel is rubber with another rubber tube inside, rubber tires, very hard outer layer with a softer expandable layer that can take in air. Okay, so the air forces the wheel to be rigid so that it can take on your weight without how do I call it? I do not want to get into technical terms. Okay, I want to make this video as simple as possible, but for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. I think that is common knowledge to anyone who has done a bit of reading. So when you sit on this bike and it is moving, there is a reaction force that might damage the rim, which is also part of the wheel. Okay, this metallic part. And for us to keep this metallic part intact, we need to take away that reaction force that might destroy it. So the way we do that, this wheel is made up of a rubber and a rubber tubing inside that is inflated, and the pressure of the air inside keeps that reaction force away from our rim. Okay, it's a barrier, it's a buffer. This is the buffer between this pressure that is going to destroy our rim. Okay, so this is the rubber, this is the rim, and this is the reaction force. So it comes between the rim and the force, protecting the rim. Therefore, the wheel maintains its form over a long time. Okay, so a wheel is made up of subparts, and its subparts are also made up of smaller subparts. I don't know if you're following. Okay, let's move away from the wheel. We have the pedal. The pedal on its own, without a chain, cannot propel this wheel. So you will be doing a lot of nothing without this chain. Okay, which forms part of the pedal. The pedal has two steps for both legs. Okay, it is called coupling of forces. Coupling of forces. There are two forces that are aiding each other. They are in opposite direction, but they are aiding each other. This one, as you step, it is being aided by this one that is coming up. Okay, when you are opening a tap, this finger is rotating clockwise while this one is rotating anti-clockwise. So they are helping each other. Okay, same thing here. the coupling of forces. Two stepping pads plus a chain plus this gear over here of teeth that transfers your force to the back wheel, okay, and it is received. Okay, it's kind of like the phone. There is a sender of force and there's a receiver of force over here, okay, just like that. So the force is transmitted this way using a chain, and that is the pedal system of this bike. But that alone is not the bike. The bike also has a saddle. Saddle is also made up of its own materials that come together and are molded into a saddle. Other than that, there is this frame over here, this triangle that you can see, that kind of supports everything. It supports everything and holds it together. It is a metallic frame, and as you can see, the wheels, you know what a bike is. Come on. Come on. You know what a bike is. Eh? The wheel is attached onto the frame. So, the point here is not to explain to you what a bike is. The point here is to deduce what the bicycle is. You break it down to its smallest components. We are so far away from breaking down this bike to its smallest components and completely understanding its makeup structure. Its makeup structure. Yeah, we have air pressure inside the wheels, but how do we keep the air pressure inside? It's like liquid LPG, gas, cooking gas. Okay? It is air that has been compressed inside a metallic container that the air itself has become heavy. It has gained weight because there is so much air. But when you open it, the air wants to escape. So how do we keep the air inside this tube? That's also another thing. That's also another part of the bike. Okay? So we have something here. I don't know if it is visible from there, or should I carry my bike close to the camera? So you can see this nozzle over here. This nozzle over here is called a valve. Okay? And we also have valves as humans inside our hearts and many other areas that prevent the backflow of things. Okay? That's the work of a valve. To keep the air inside. Once it's in, it cannot flow back outside. Once you pump it in, the valve keeps the air inside. That is also another part of the bike. Okay? The brakes. I've not yet talked about the brakes. The brakes are here, but you use these handles to hold the brakes. You need the brakes for a bike unless you are an expert rider like I am. You need brakes for a complete bike. So part 2 seems like it's coming to an end. I do not know how to conclude it. I'll conclude it by saying that I know you know what a bike is. The point of this video is for you to understand what deductive reasoning is. And those are two classical examples. Part 1 was the smartphone, part 2 was the bike. Those are two classical examples of how you can move from an origin and end up at a current state of affairs, which let me call it a destination, while completely understanding what is going on. Okay, you have complete control of the events leading up to the final product. I am also not talking about products here. Okay, I am talking about deductive reasoning. And with that, I will end part 2. Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of the video. Yeah, part 3 looks shoddy because now I'm holding my phone and moving around with it, so it might be a bit shoddy. But this is the crucial part anyway. This is the crucial part. Look at my face, all blacked out. Okay, the reason I'm holding my phone in the first place is because, let me find some light somewhere. So that my face is, okay, my face doesn't even matter. What matters is the point of this segment. But before I move into that, I need to explain why I'm holding my phone. Well, a friend of mine ran away with my equipment, stole my other camera. I stole my stand. Now I do not even have audio. Look at how I'm getting my audio. Also some other sad news. Little Pico grew up and flew away. It left me there sad and wondering how I'm going to get such an awesome pet again. Was that a pet? It never liked me anyway. So I guess it went to where it belongs. Yeah. So By the way, this video is being filmed 4 months late. Okay, 4 months, 4 good months late. Yeah, procrastination is a thief of time. Yeah, as you can see, this segment of the video is different from the other segments. But anyway, I'll still get on to the point. Okay, moving on swiftly. The third part is going to discuss about how the human body is built. This is not a biology lesson, okay? Remember the main agenda of this video. This is not a biology lesson. I am here to show you how the very big and the very small work in tandem, okay? Because somehow understanding that bit of information will help you unlock some creativity corners of your brain that you did not know existed, okay? So just bear with me, bear with my shorty video over here, and let's begin. So, you are probably watching this video, and you're just watching it, but you see, the part of you that is receiving the information is the eye, okay? These eyes over here, okay? We can take them off, you'll still be a human being, but you will not be complete. Okay? So, from, maybe I'm moving too quickly. Let me go back to the eye. You see the eye, for the eye to be the eye, and for the eye to work, it has to work with the brain. Okay, so there is a connection between the two, and it is connected through a channel of nerves. Okay, a channel of nerves that relay the information back and forth. I think the eye is only a receiver. Okay. Yeah, there's also information for you to look, to gaze. Is it gazing? Controlling the eye. Okay, these are muscles. These are muscles that are around the eye that help in that navigation, and the signals are sent from the brain to that muscle to tell your eye, hey, look at that thing over there. Okay, so there is a system of things that are working together to form the big system. Okay, so the point of what I am talking, the point of these paragraphs that I am talking about is that big systems are made by smaller fundamental systems that work together. And even these small fundamental systems are built by much smaller, very small fundamental systems, like the eye. This might be painful to imagine, but take the eye off and slice it into half, and slice that half into half. You will end up with, if you approach the infinity slicing, if you just continue slicing the smaller half into another half, and that smaller half, you take one half, throw the other half away, you're left with one half, slice it, keep one half, throw the other half away, slice that other half, do that 1,000,000 times with the eye, you end up with the tiniest bit of the eye that can also be, why is my hand shaking? I've been holding the camera for a while, okay, but it is making me digress. So, smaller pieces form the fundamental piece, and the fundamental piece works with other fundamental pieces to become the bigger picture. Okay, and because it cannot work on its own, it needs to relay information. You get what I am talking about, okay? This is not a biology class, although it can be. I can trigger those interests in you, maybe interesting. And speaking of the place where the relayed information is switched to go to opposite sides of the brain. Okay, these two eyes, they do not take information directly to the brain. They switch somewhere in between here, and this eye's information is taken to this side of the brain, this one to this side of the brain. That reminded me that I also will at one point in the channel cover symmetry. Okay, I have to cover symmetry because symmetry is a major part of creativity. It's a major part of art and engineering. So yeah, at one point I will have to do symmetry. There are people who write really fast, and instead of spelling read as R-E-A-D, they spell it as R-A-E-D. I don't know. There's something that can happen with the symmetry that makes you see things in an inverted way, in an inverse or a converse, okay? Makes you see things. But anyway, that is a digression to make you subscribe, I guess. About this ear is a tunnel that goes deep into travels up to this area, and then there's an inner ear, then whatever in the middle here. I'll share that diagram. This ear, you just see the peanut, but inside there are many other fundamental parts that are joined. So There's a hammer that knocks on something that helps you get me, that takes in information, that shapes you. You talking to you. There's an ant walking on my screen, which I cannot take a screenshot and get it because it's on top of the screen. Anyway, and I am able to talk to you because of this mouth over here, which also forms part of the human, part of the complete human. Man, this is terrible. I need to sort my issues out before I speak to the people. But anyway, thanks for bearing with me so far. I wish Pico was here. Pico could have been standing over my shoulders, give me more points to discuss. But don't worry, Captain speaking here. I still have it. I think I still have the manuscript. 4 months late. Okay, let me begin again. There are major parts of a human being. One of them is the head. I've not been looking at the camera. Let me look at the camera. One of them is the head. And the head is a big part of the body. And that big part is made up of smaller, fundamental components, like the mouth, the nose, that enables you to take in the... Wow. I hope nobody trolls my nose. Yeah. Okay. Breathing in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. Such systems have to be there for you to be a complete human being. If I want to talk to you, my brain has to instruct air into my system. And I have to let that air out of my system with content, with stuff that I have come up with to make this conversation possible. This is a conversation, this talk, whatever this is. Okay? So there's an element of the brain controlling how air is being let out of my system, because I can choose to do nothing with the air. Or I can breathe in and talk to you using the air. What is controlling that talk and how the air is being let out is the brain, which is also a part of the head. And if you chop off your neck, then your brains are on the floor. I don't think you'll be able to talk. Eh? You'll not be a complete human then. Right? Right. We also have the hands. Okay? We have the legs that are enabling me to walk around this place. Okay? I think you get it. You get what I'm talking about. Okay? We are made up of several parts, including the reproductive system, which its function, other than excreting what you had initially eaten. Did I just say eaten? Oh, okay. So, I think you get it. But do you really get it? I don't think you do. Because even the eye, even the brain on its own is made up of smaller units that come together to form that eye, to form that nose. This nose can be broken down, and then that part that was broken down can be broken down into very small pieces that come together to form that part. And that part, with several other parts, form the nose. Okay? Form the lips. You do not have one tooth. They are similar in structure, but you have several of them. Okay? So it's a teamwork. It's a mesh that works together, okay, to form the bigger thing. And the bigger thing also, the tooth cannot exist on its own. So you have several that are arranged in a particular order to do different kinds of duties. Okay. Maybe I need to trim my hair. Look at my hair. Wow.